Hey Cal, it's Tuesday. You should know that we are almost through the 5th season of Buffy, and Melissa wanted me to ask for an extension so that we could finish watching it tonight, but I really didn't want to get punished again. So I've actually been wanting to talk about this for a couple of weeks now, but I've been distracted by punishments and other response videos and stuff like that. I want to talk about vlogs. Okay, I still hate the word, but I want to talk about the thing. See, I've been aware of vlogging for a long time. I remember hearing about Ze Frank back in the day. I remember the whole Lonely Girl 15 fiasco that sort of helped push it into the mainstream, but I never really got it. I never really saw the charm of sitting in front of your computer pretending that you're talking to someone just so that you could put it on the internet and a whole bunch of strangers could see it. So I've pretty much thought this way for quite a while now, and then you introduced me to Vlogbrothers, and I suddenly became sort of obsessed. And that much is kind of obvious. I mean, I spontaneously decided that we were in fact going to start our own vlog channel, which surprisingly we've kept up with. But it goes a little deeper than that. Since actually starting our own, I've become sort of obsessed with looking at other people's, and it's not people I know or that I have any desire to know. I'm really just fascinated by people who are starting out and why. As of this very moment, if you search for First Vlog on YouTube, from the past 2 hours there are 18 hits. 18 people have started vlogging in the past 2 hours, and that is a pretty consistent figure. No matter what time of day you look for First Vlog, there are tons of them and they are recent. And even more impressively, almost all of them are the same video. It's always someone talking about how they don't know what to talk about, they've never made a video before. Some people talk them into doing it sometimes, not unlike our first video where I just talked about how we were ripping off the Vlogbrothers because we thought it was cool. And just in looking at all these first videos, it's really made me start to think about, the kind of things that lend credibility to these vloggers, the kind of things that they talk about, who I think looks like an interesting person just based off of their screen cap, which is a completely superficial way of thinking, but I skip over like half of them because they don't look like interesting people. Okay, now I just feel shallow. What's really weird is how many of them actually speak to an audience that doesn't really exist. I mean, you and I started this whole project as sort of we kind of want to try this video making thing, but we want to have an excuse to do it. So we can do this back and forth, and we know there's at least a viewer. There's an audience, and if there's a bigger audience, that would be kind of cool, but not really what we're aiming for. But a lot of people who start out, as soon as their first video, they start talking out to YouTube, and they start saying, leave me a message in the comments about this, send me a message about this, respond with your own video. And it's really interesting because these people don't have an audience. They don't even have a reason to have an audience, at least not at this point. That kind of got me thinking about the evolution of the medium as a way to communicate. And you have, writing really kind of started out with, in terms of actually communicating with other people, it was, personal letters or journals. It wasn't really something that was, intended to go to a broad audience. I mean, for quite a while in history, the concept of authorship didn't even exist. And then even audio communication really kind of began on the telephone. It was at a more personal level. It was person to person. That's how you communicated. But video media is really the only thing that sort of began with the mass communication. You had it in your TV or you went to the movies. That was the only way you saw video. So the only way you recognized video is as something that was being shown to a broader audience. So I guess it makes sense that by the time it came full circle and video blogging became something that people did, they sort of projected to this large audience because in our minds that's what video is for. And the other thing I find really interesting about vlogs is how many are clearly like 11 years old. And all I can think to myself is, oh God, what would I have done if I actually had access to a webcam at that age? I mean, I've stumbled across some of the stuff that I wrote back then, and oh God. And as we all know, you can't really erase something from the internet once it's out there, as long as at least one other person has seen it. So there are going to be some people who are sort of haunted by these in the next 5 to 6 years. But then part of me almost wonders what I would have done. I mean, it's nice to have those points of reference to look back on and see how much you've grown. It could be interesting to see what you were really like. So that's all I got. Thanks for telling me about the book. It does sound interesting, although I have to admit you kind of started to lose me at the monkey rape. So let me know what your opinions are on the phenomenon that is vlogging. It's probably a bigger conversation for other times, maybe face-to-face. But at least now that I've started to talk about it, I feel less like a creepy voyeur for looking at a whole bunch of strangers' videos.